Okay, all right. So, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this session. So, thanks everyone for joining this session. This is the second demo class for Oracle Fusion Financial Cloud Training conducted by TrioTech Software Training Programs. My name is Abhishek. I am the trainer for this batch. And let me begin with today's session. So, a quick introduction about myself. Although many of you have already joined yesterday's session also, but there are some students who has joined today only. So, a quick introduction. So, my name is Abhishek Kumar. I'm Oracle certified consultant with 12 plus years in Oracle consulting. So, I'm basically involved in training as well as I'm also working with one of the IT company who's involved in Oracle implementation and support projects. So during my career, I have worked in various legislations, including UK, US, Middle East, and predominantly I have worked on implementation and support projects. Right now, also as a part of my training career, I have delivered more than 13 training programs, including the corporate training programs as well as the regular batches. And I have also worked in various organizations like Deloitte, Oracle, EY, PwC on the Oracle side. And the product in which I got this specialization is Oracle Fusion Cloud and track. Speaking of the track, I'm a finance consultant. So some quick do's and don'ts of just a recommendation from our side so that we can smoothly cover our agenda for the day. So first is the meeting is being recorded. So once the session is over, we'll be sharing this meeting recording over the TrioTech training portal. So all the students who have already enrolled will be getting the access soon so that they can refer to all the recorded videos, right? Also, we request you to keep yourself on mute during the session so that we can effectively cover our agenda for the day and any questions which can be taken at the end of the session during the questions and answer round. And also you can type your question in the chat section of Zoom so that we can take it at the end of the session. Right, team. So now moving to the agenda. So before moving to the agenda, I would just like to draw your attention in the last session. So in the last session, we have discussed the overall concept of the ERP, and we have seen the product details like what is the product, the name of the product is or Oracle Fusion. So this product is developed by Oracle Corporation, which is a US based tech company, and the category of the product is ERP, which is Enterprise Resource Plan. So while discussing the concept of ERP, we have discussed that how ERP differs from the other platforms which are available in the market. So in comparison to the traditional platforms which were, specialized in only one subject area. So in comparison to that, the ERP is a overall package which comes together with the best of the practices and best of the platforms which are available in the market. So now especially for the companies who are the end users or consumer of these applications, so they need not to go with multiple application for managing their day-to-day business operations, but instead of that, they just need to get one application, which is the ERP application, and under this one umbrella they can get all their business requirements fulfilled. So it can be a business requirement related to financials, it can be business requirement related to their management reporting, their tax calculations and tax reporting, or it can also be operations related to their supply chain management, predominantly their inventory, their manufacturing, right? And also the employee related activities like records related to employees maintenance, salary calculation, payment of the compensation. So all these things can be now be done under one roof under the umbrella of the enterprise resource planning application, ERP application, right? So hope you got that clarity in the last session, and now you're pretty okay with the concept, like what is an ERP, under ERP, which product we are talking about, and how this product is going to help us in form of training, right? Now, in today's session, what we will continue with this topic where we'll be understanding in detail like what kind of training we'll be having, and what is the ultimate outcomes of this training that we are going to expect, or we should be expecting out of this training program, right? We'll be having discussion on the work profiles also. So we'll try to categorize different work profiles which are available in the market, and how you guys as a trained consultants are going to fit in on this profiles, right? We'll also have a talk about some of the implementation companies. So here, I'll be giving you some of the examples, so that the available companies in the market in terms of implementation. So you get an idea like what kind of opportunities and where we can actually get these kind of job opportunities, right? So that will be helpful, especially for the consultants who are from the non-ERP background, or consultants who are just beginning their career in the ERP domain, right? So we'll be covering that as a part of this topic, right? Then moving next, getting familiar with Oracle Fusion UI and navigational components. Now, this is where we will be actually looking into the application. We'll have we'll use the credential, we use the server credentials, and we'll log into the credentials, and then we'll have the look like how the application, Oracle Fusion application or cloud application looks like, and what are the some of the key components when we navigate to the application, what are the key navigations, and how to get use those navigation while using the application for the first time, right? Then we'll see in the application, we'll see some more topics like enabling offering, then some aspects related to security administration, like how the security is maintained within the application. So these aspects, well, that we are going to discuss, enabling offering or security administration. So these will be covered in a brief manner, right? However, in the upcoming session, we'll also be covering each one of these in detail, right? Because when we'll be configuring various modules, at that point of time, each of this aspect will again touch base, and we'll be discussing in detail like how module wise security and offerings work, right? Then apart from this, getting touch base with the application, we'll also be discussing one of the topics which is basically related to the upcoming session, right? So the first session that we are going to cover in the regular classes will be the general ledger module, right? So this topic is basically related to general ledger module, understanding the Oracle enterprise structure. So not only like general ledger module, but the overall architecture, overall solutioning, or overall configuration is dependent on this Oracle enterprise structure. So in detail, we'll be covering in the upcoming session. But yes, as of now, I'll be giving you an understanding that yes, how an enterprise structure works and what are the key components that are involved in the enterprise structure, right? So we'll try to fit all this agenda in the given time frame, and so let's begin. So first, training outcomes team. So what is the expected outcome from this training? So normally what happens is like when we talk about the application as a student, that you're clear, okay, this is the application, this is the application on which we are getting the training and all. But what is the outcome that we can expect? Now, in order to in order to find the outcome, or in order to measure the outcome, so what I do normally, I bifurcate my students into two categories. One is the fresher categories, other one is the experience categories, right? Experience means the candidates who already have a knowledge on the ERP background, or who doesn't have the knowledge or not work on the ERP platform, but who are already working, right? So the first aspect we are going to cover is the product knowledge, right? So what this training program is going to deliver you. This training program will be helping you guys in getting the product knowledge. So when I say product knowledge, means Oracle Fusion Financials product knowledge, right? So within that financial, all the modules that we are going to cover in this training program. So you'll be getting the product knowledge in and outs about the module, how to do the configuration, how to do the testing, how various processes related to the various modules work. And also it will help you to understand the overall project implementation cycle, right? So the manner or the way in which the training program has been designed is in such a way that we will be doing a live implementation for a company. Okay, so we'll be choosing some company, we'll be doing live implementation for that company or for the selected modules, and at the same time while doing the configuration, I will also be working on the overall solutioning that we are going to deliver to the particular company or particular during the implementation. So that is where, as a student, as a fresher or as an experience, you'll be getting the product knowledge, including the like learning the overall product lifecycle or project lifecycle of a implementation for Oracle Fusion Financials. Right now, as an outcome, what is the next thing that you'll be able to get here? So first is securing a job in Oracle domain. So especially for freshers, right, the objective of the freshers attending this training to get a job in the Oracle domain, right? So that is where they'll be able to do that, right? After this training, they'll be able to secure a job in the field of Oracle Fusion Financials, right? Now, for the experience, I'm not mention it here that you'll be able to secure a job, because I'm having that assumption that the experience of the consultants who are already working, so either they'll be working in Oracle domain or they are working in the non-Oracle domain. So they're also already working. Now, what they want to achieve as a part of this training is they want to upskill themselves so that they can switch to Oracle into Oracle domain, or if they're already working in Oracle domain, they can get promoted, or they can get transferred in the Oracle Fusion Financial. So that's kind of upskilling themselves. That's why I mentioned that secure job is not here for the experience, but yes, you can understand it's more on the upskilling side for the experienced consultants. So that's where the third point is upskill the product knowledge, right? And so this is something which is applicable to the experienced consultants who are already working, right? So they can upskill themselves. They can move to, if they are not in Oracle Fusion Financial, they can move to Oracle Fusion Financials. Then also we have some of the students who have worked in some other modules, but still like some of the core modules they are not aware of. So for them, it will be helpful from the training perspective, right? So for them, at the upskilling part is something very important. Now, enhanced subject knowledge. So this particular program has been designed in a way so you can enhance your subject matter knowledge, right? So when I say enhance the subject matter knowledge, so what happens generally whenever the training programs are conducted from the financial consultants, right? So the scope of the training is limited only learning about how the functional aspect of the modules work. Functional aspect means how the overall process works, what are the different functionalities which are available, and how those functionalities work, right? So normally you'll see the training program which are restricted only to these areas. But in this training program, what we'll be covering will be not only be covering the functional aspect, but also be covering the configuration aspect, right? So configuration aspect means first we will be doing the configuration on our own, and then based on the configuration that we did, we will be doing the testing set, right? So this is something important, and this is more important from the point of view of enhancing your subject matter knowledge. Because what happens is when you do the configuration on your own and then you test the functionalities, then you'll be able to link those functionalities with the configuration tab, right? So you'll be able to know how on the basis of configuration the functionalities are working, and where I need to make changes in order to change the test result, or in order to check various scenarios, or in order to test various scenarios, right? So that's where the enhanced subject matter knowledge comes into picture. Now, next one is learn about the end-to-end implementation cycle. So as I mentioned before, the approach that we are going to use is we are implementing a new project for a company, and all the stages which are there in the new project implementation. So we'll be having discussion around those, and then on the basis of that only we'll be doing the configuration. So at every stage, I'll be giving you the details how this stage works, what is the stage, how it works, and what are the key inputs and outputs of the stage in terms of implementation. So how it will help you, so at the time when join an implementation company or a support company, you will be able to understand very well that how the project phases work, and then based on the project phases, you'll be able to understand in advance that what is expected out of the consultant to be delivered as a part of the project implementation cycle, or even it can be support project, right? Now, last and not the least, prepare for certification. So this is something I have mentioned yesterday also, because it was one of the questions raised by one of the consultants, stating that how this training can be helpful for preparing for the certification, right? So nowadays, what happens in comparison to the previous format of certification, it was all based on the theoretical knowledge. along with some practical knowledge, right? So it was more where you need to understand each of the functionality, you need to read about the functionality, the in and out of the functionality. But nowadays, what happens is it is not only an MCQ pattern, but also it is divided into MCQ pattern as well as the practical based approach, where as a part of the certification exam, you will be given access of the system, and then you will be given a case scenario, and you'll be asked to do certain setups in the system, right? And based on the marking scheme, whatever setups you've done, the marks will be allotted. Now, as a part of new certification format, it is mandatory to pass both the aspects, the theoretical aspect, which consists of the MCQ, as well as the practical aspect, which consists of the live implementation, right? So that's where this training becomes more important, because we will be covering the practical aspects in the class, as well as we will also be discussing the theoretical aspects, where we'll be understanding various functionalities and various configuration. Now, at the same time, in addition to this, we'll also be giving you the access of the Oracle repository, so that you can read about all the contents, the updated contents, release-wise updated contents, the latest updated content for the topics will be available in the Oracle repository, so that you can access, you can read about those topics and prepare for the certifications. Right. So I hope this is clear that what are the expected outcomes of this training that we should be expecting once this training is started, right? Now, I'll move to the next part, the roles, right? What does the role means, right? Role means the opportunities that we can expect in the market, right? So there are different types of roles which are available in the market, or in the global market, you can say. So not only in India but also abroad, in terms of Oracle Fusion Financials consultant. Okay, so what does it include? First, it includes the implementation consultant, right? So here I have mentioned three columns. I have mentioned three different values here. I have mentioned one is the vendor company, right? Second one is the consulting company, and third one is the end user company. So who is the vendor company? Vendor company is the Oracle who has developed this product. Consulting company means various companies which are available in the market who are implementing for the end users, or the company who has procured the licenses, or done the subscription of Oracle Fusion Financials. And end user company is the actual users, right? So what happens is the process flow is like that. The end user company is in need of the ERP system, then they'll be consulting the vendor company about the product. And once they're okay with the product, they'll be getting the licenses or subscription, right? Now, the end user company, sometimes what happens is if the end user company is themselves capable of implementing the products, they'll be implementing on their own. Otherwise, they'll be hiring the consulting company who will be implementing the product as per their requirement. Correct. Now, this is where the first role comes into picture, which is implementation consulting, right? So here under the vendor company, which is Oracle. So Oracle itself also implements Oracle for the end users company. Correct. So you can also join Oracle as an implementation consultant, in order to become a part of the implementation team to implement the product for various companies. Right. That is one point. Then you can join as an implementation consultant in the consulting company. So consulting company, I mean to say various companies, various Oracle partners like Big Four, it can be IBM, Wipro, TechM, Capgemini, PwC, KPMG. All those companies are into consulting. Deloitte, right? So you can also become a part of their team implementing product for the end user company. And the third one is the implementation consultants for the end user company. So sometimes the end user company, they have their own implementation team while they're procuring the product. So the own implementation team implements the product for the company. So also in that case, yes, you can join those companies. Now, along with the implementation consultant, there are some other roles, right? Implementation is the first aspect, right? The other roles can be, second one is the support consultant. So what happens is when the application is already implemented, right? So there are consultants who are required, or there is a team of consultants who are required to support for to provide support on the application, right? In terms of implementing new functionalities, or in order to help the business for running day-to-day business operations. So they need a support team. So as and when they had the support consultant. So This is also something which is applicable in all three aspects. So vendor company, which is Oracle, also hires support consultant, so which can provide support for various other companies for which they have implemented the product. Okay, same way the consult companies also had this team of consultants as a support consultant, so that they can provide the support to various their various business clients who have, for whom they have either implemented or for whom they are doing the support activities. And it's at the end user level also, there is a separate team which is available to provide the support on the ERP product, which is Oracle Fusion Financials. The number three, this is one of the very latest and one of the very new positions which are available in the market, is product testing consultants, right? So some of a team, separate team is engaged in the product, who is actually responsible for testing the product which is implemented, right? So what happens is, either the vendor company or the consulting company will be implementing the product for the end user company. So normally what happens here, the end user company or the consulting company or vendor company, they hire separate team of experts who are responsible for testing the product which is implemented by other, right? So that they can cross check whether the implementation done is correct or not, whether it fulfills the business requirement or not. So very well, these positions are available on all the three sides, where separately company hires the team of consultants who are responsible for testing. And even I remember, like, someone yesterday also from the team asked this question, that the consultant is working as a testing consultant. So yeah, this is one of the very good opportunity. And recently, this is something very more opportunities are there in this field, right? You'll be seeing a lot of opportunities. Now, fourth one is freelancer and contractors. So again, when you do not become a part of the any of these companies like vendor company, consulting company, and user company as an employee, also you can provide the freelancing services to them. So where companies hire on the contractual basis for completion of various products, or for providing support in various projects, right? So this is also one of the very key role which is available in the market, right? So like, I'll request you, like, what you can do is you can open your LinkedIn, try to type Oracle Fusion Financial Consultants, and then you try to check like how many opportunities are available in the market. So there are quite a lot opportunities that you'll be seeing in this particular domain, right? Now, a quick overview on the organizations involved. So now we know that what is a vendor company, what is a consulting or partner company, what is an end user company, right? But I have just mentioned here it for example, some examples, so that you have an understanding. Okay, these are the key players in the market which are available, and this is where we can actually get the opportunity. Now, this list is very well available on the Google also, right? So companies who are providing consulting services for Oracle, it is available. The end user companies who have actually implemented Oracle, and also the vendor companies who has developed the product. So these can also be taken from the online. But here I'm giving you the reference so that you have an understanding, like in terms of opportunities, like which are the big players who are there in the market. So vendor company, as you know, Oracle Corporation US, consulting companies, some of the big names I mentioned, but these are just big some of the top players in the market. But along with that, you have medium-sized companies who are very effectively working and again providing a lot of opportunities. You have small-sized companies who are in partnered with Oracle Corporation, who are implementing Oracle, and they also provide very good opportunities, right? So it's not like hundreds of companies are now being partnered with Oracle, as it's a global product, right? So some of the example here I've taken is like Accenture. They have a separate practice for Oracle Fusion Financial. Cognizant, they have separate division. Deloitte has separate division. IBM, Infosys, PwC, TCS, Wipro. So all these companies are very actively involved in Oracle business, and they make huge revenue out of implementing those projects. And they have big teams of Oracle consultants. So Oracle Fusion Financial consultants, rather. Now, some of the examples of the end user companies who are actually working on Oracle ERP platform, and that to cloud platform. So in India, if you might be have heard these names like Bharti Airtel Limited from telecom sector, then Bajaj Allianz Life Insurance Company, again from the insurance sector. SBI cards also use the Oracle platform. Then Uber, your travel partner, Uber, Zoom, the online meeting platform, then FedEx, Mazda, Bosch. So these are some of the top names which are available from or who have actually implemented Oracle and who are working on the Oracle platform, right? So just to give you a glance, like, okay, what are the companies who are, which are the companies who are involved, and uh, very well you can apply jobs in any of these companies, right? Whether it sits on the vendor side, it sits on the consulting side, or it sits on the end user side, right? So as mentioned in the last slide, right? So there are various rules, right? Now, once the training is done, as a consultant, you can identify the roles which best suited for yourself, and then you can decide in which company I should be applying for, right? Subject to the ongoing opportunities or ongoing openings, right? Now, let me move to the next part here. So this is understanding the Oracle Fusion UI. So now, as we have an understanding, okay, how the what is the product, how the product works, and who are the companies involved, and what kind of opportunities now we have. Now, I think it's time to officially begin the training by looking at into the application, the how the application looks like, and how easy to access the application in comparison to the other products which are available or other traditional products which are previously there in the market, right? So will be what we'll be doing here is we will be d- uh, navigating to the application. So in order to navigate, first we need to sign into the application. So what are the key things that you'll be required here? So let me just open one of the browser here. So in order to access the application, what you need to do is you should be having this link, right? So just like we have a link for any website, so this is also a link in order to access the Oracle application, right? Enter the link, right? So once you open this link, what will happen? It will navigate you to the landing page or the signing page, right? So sign in Oracle Applications Cloud, okay? And here you should be having your user ID and password in order to sign in into the application. Now here I would like to draw your attention on the link. Now, normally when you have this link, so basically what this link represents. So this link represents the access of a particular application, okay? Now, if you see here, there is something mentioned. It says EKMK test login US6 Oracle Cloud, right? So this is something which you'll see in almost all the Oracle application. The URL will end with this oraclecloud.com, right? As it's an Oracle application. And also you'll be able to see this terminology, which is like US6 and all. So this represents the database of this application. So if it is something maintained in US, then you'll be having this phrase here as US6, right? Or US4 and something like that. And also which kind of instance is this? So if you see here, there is something called test, right? So normally the nomenclature that you'll be seeing here is you will be able to see for various applications, like you'll be able to see something like this: test, Dave, or prod, right? So these kind of nomenclature you'll be able to see. Now within Dave also, this is something that you can see like day one, two, three, and all, right? So what happens is anytime a company who's actually implementing Oracle or the end user of Oracle, right? So when the implementation phase goes on, so what happens is Oracle provides them multiple instances, multiple applications, right? So those multiple applications are used for various purposes, right? So for example, test. So normally the test application is used for doing the initiating the implementation of the project, where we will be doing all kinds of testing, right? So normally this test instances generally which is handled and managed by the consulting company who are actually implementing the Oracle. Correct. So they'll be preparing the solutions, they'll be configuring the applications, they'll be doing the testing. So for those purpose, test application generally will be used. Then after that, will be having like dev instance. Dev means development instance, like development one instance, development two instance, development three instance. So it depends upon the business requirement, how many development instance they want. So this is something which is agreed between Oracle and the business. So basically, development instances where business team themselves do the testing. So what has been prepared or what has been configured by the implementation team, is it something fulfilling the business requirement or not? right? So this is where the development instance is used by the business, right? So it's not a thumb rule as such, but yeah, as a part of the practice, this is the best recommended practice where test instance is something which is restricted to the testing team or the implementation team, and the development instance are restricted to the business team where they do their all the testings of their business transaction, whether whatever has been configured is correct or not, right? And then you have the prod instance, which is production instance, and this is where actually the day-to-day transaction business transactions are maintained, the live business transaction, right? So for example, let's say the bank, one bank, let's say HDFC Bank is implementing Oracle, right? So they might be having different instances, right? So production instance is the actual instance where their business transaction or day-to-day transactions are maintained, right? So in production instance, you'll not be seeing any testing, right? It will be actual business transaction. Whereas in development instance, you'll be able to see that business themselves, if they are implemented some new functionality, new solution, then they'll be testing it. Whereas in the test instance, uh, the consulting team or the consulting company who's implementing Oracle, so they will be doing all those development configurations and they'll be doing the testing. So this is how the instances are maintained. So anytime when you have the access of the instance, the first thing that you need to check is whether it's a test instance, it's a development instance, or it is production instance. Because there might be a possibility that when you become a part of the product implementation team, you might have access to multiple instances. So that is where you should be very clear in which instance you are working, so that you don't do any incorrect transactions in the wrong application, right? So just for the knowledge, this is how we are going to read the URL. Now, once you have the URL, the next point here is the user ID and password, right? So in order to access any application, the login credentials are required, right? So sign in credentials, login credentials. So that is where the concept of user ID and password is required. So what happens is normally the consulting team who is doing the consulting or is doing the implementation, so separate the user credential, user-wise credentials are prepared, user accounts are prepared and given to them so that they can perform their activities independently. Right. So here you just what you have to mention. You have to mention the user ID, you have to mention the password, and then you just have to click on the sign in. Okay. So once you sign in, it will navigate you to the landing page or home page, we can say. So here, if you see, it's giving me a details. Welcome, Billy, Mrs. Chris Billy. So that's the name of the user account that I'm using, right? So here, if you see, there are multiple navigations or multiple options, right? So on here, you can see the logo of the application Oracle. Then you have the option navigation option here. Then you have multiple options here, right? So this is where the home icon is, right? So this is how, if you can see the icon, you can locate the icon. This is the home icon. So you can click on this icon. So this is the home page where, based on the time zones, system will give you the greeting. Good evening, Willie, Mrs. Chris. So this is the name of the user that I'm using. And if you are using, if you have your own user account, then your name will be displayed here. And then you have multiple icons here. Right now, what are these icons? Right. So if you see these are the icons related to various functionalities which are available in the system. Correct. Now the question here is whether as a consultant I'll be having all the functionalities access or only limited functionalities access will be there, right? So if you see here, we have expenses, we have payroll, right? If I further move on the right hand side, I have receivables, account receivable. This is one of our module, right? Then I have payables, again, one of our modules, general accounting, GL, right? Intercompany, budgetary, all the modules which are available in the ERP system is available here. Cash management, lease accounting, CAD mix tools, enterprise and all, right? Now, is it something that every consultant will be having? The answer is no. This is where the security feature comes into picture, right? So let me take you to the security feature here. So what happens is whenever you get a user account, so initially what happens is Oracle gives the application access to an admin user, right? So there is an admin user from the business side who have the access, who has a user account created, who in turn will be creating the user accounts for each individual consultants who are involved in the application implementation. Correct. Now, once the user IDs are created, so I'll show you from where it is created. There is something called security, right? So security means three aspects: who, what, which data. So who means who is the user, so for which the user account will be created. Once the user account is created, what kind of access should the user have, right? What kind of access means, do I need only general ledger related access? Do I need cash management related access? Do I need fixed asset related access? Right. So that is something which is covered here under what data I need access of. And third one is which data. Which data means, now thing which we need to understand is, so let's say the application is built for HDFC, right? We are implementing for HDFC. Now, is the application capable of handling only the data related to one entity, or the application is capable of handling data related to various multiple entities, right? So either it's only one company or multiple companies can be implemented. So the answer is, in one single application you can implement as many companies as you want, right? As many entities as you want. Correct. So normally what happens is, if you talk about any business group, so let's say Reliance is a big business group, right? Reliance group of industries is big. Now within Reliance, there are many companies like Reliance, Geo Financial Services, Geo Telecommunication Services, or you have Reliance Petrochemicals. So there are various companies and hundreds of companies which are there listed under Reliance. Now when let's say Reliance is implementing an application, so is it the case where Reliance need to subscribe for each individual company? They need to subscribe a different application. The answer is no, right? They can get the license for only one application, and within application, within that application, they can implement all their companies which are falling under the same umbrella. So that is something which is possible, and that is something which is the core of this application, where you can have multiple companies implemented in the same application, right? And that is where this concept of which data becomes very important. Now let's say who means, let's say Abhishek is the user. What Abhishek needs to access? Abhishek is a GL user, needs to access, have the access of the GL module, and which data. So let's say Reliance we are implementing now. Whether Abhishek is working for Reliance Geo Financials, Abhishek is working for Geo Telecommunication, Abhishek is working for Reliance Petrochemical. So let's say Abhishek is an employee of Geo Financials. Then which data should Abhishek have the access? Only Geo Financial, right? However, all the employees for uh, who are part of the other companies of the group will be using the same application, but only limited access will be given to the respective companies, so that they can manage their own data and do not interfere in the workings of other companies. So, other companies, I mean to say, and that's where the security concept becomes important. So, hope you understood this concept, that who means which user, what means what kind of module access, and which data means which company access the user wants, right? So this is one of the important concept, and based on this, right, based on this, you will be able to see or the icons available here. So if something you have not given the access of, then you'll not be able to see all those icons available here, right? So let's say if I have access only of the GL, then only option available for me will be general accounting. Remaining anything will not be available unless and until I'm given the access of that particular functionality or that particular module. Okay. So hope this is clear. We understood the concept of how to have a basic, do the basic navigation, how to sign in the application, how the URL works, how to go to the home icon, and then what this different icon resembles or what this represents. Okay. Now this is the basic dashboard or basic UI. Now, second thing is I'm going to discuss today is how to create a user account. So this is something very important, right? Although how it happens is the admin user is responsible for creating the user account, but sometimes what happens is the admin user himself is not aware how, because normally admin users are from the end user companies, right? So they might not be aware that how user accounts are created. So that is where, as a consultant, you should be aware that how the user account should be created, right? So in order to do that, we have a navigation here, right? So this is something called navigator, where all these functionalities are listed, right? Various functionalities depending upon the access or the roles I have. right? So the term I have used here is roles, right? So security is something which is managed by the roles, right? So on the basis of rules, it will be determined whether you'll be having general ledger access, intercompany access, budgetary access, or any other access, right? So if I go here, so don't worry about the navigation. Don't need not to remember the navigation, because this is something we will be doing for each and every module. Multiple times we'll be accessing this particular page. So, with time you'll be habitual and be understanding how this navigation works, right? So here I have something called tools. So let me quickly locate that, right? Tools, under tools, I have something called security console. Now, before moving to security consoles, I think this is something which can confuse you, because under tools we have various options and all, right? So is it something that will be available to your users also? The answer is no, right? Because what will happen, you will be given access to only the specific areas where you need to have the access, correct? But now, as this is a training user, right, and in order to do the training, need to have access of all the functionalities. So that's where you are able to see all these icons. So no need to get confused with these icons. Just remember that yes, in order to create a user, we need to go to security console. So one is, we can locate it directly under tool, or the other option is I can just click on show more, Control F, and just type security. So it will just quickly navigate and highlight the particular subject area. Correct. So this is where I can click on security console, and then I can navigate to the particular page from where I can actually create my user account. Okay. So here, if you see, there are various different subject areas, but no need to worry on those. One by one we'll be covering as and when it is required. So as of now, in order to create a user account, we'll just move to the users here and click on add users. And this is from where we will be adding the user account for ourselves, right? For ourselves means considering this particular user is an admin user, and now we want to create an implementation user who can actually perform the setups and all, right? So here, some details, whether it's active or logged. Yes, it is active. So I'll use the applicable options here: active user, then name of the user. So let's say Abhishek, and then write Kumar. I can write the email ID also, because email ID is something which will be helpful later on in order to recover the password, as well as it will also be helpful for receiving various notification from the system, right? So then automatically system will suggest you a username. Abhishek.Kumar is something system has suggested. But sometimes this depends upon the business policy, whether it's name, first name dot last name, or email IDs. So you can have any of these as the preferred username. And then you have the password, right? So here I can type the password that I want. So let's say test, and rewrite the password, right? So once the initial details are done, and if I click on save and close, what will happen is my user account will be created. Okay, then I can use this user account for performing various actions subject to a condition that these roles are assigned to me, right? So again, I'll refer back rules, which means that what access I need, which company, which data access, that is something which is dependent on roles, right? So as of now, just a user account is created so that I can use this user account in order to sign into the application. But again, there is a something which is called roles, which is used in order to access various functionalities. Now, the first and foremost important thing is I'll assign myself a role here, so that I can initiate the configuration. Because ultimately what we are going to do is, once the initial navigation is done, we will be doing the implementation. Although in the upcoming session, but we need to do that, right? So that is where we need to assign roles to our users. So I'll just take a quick pause here, so hope so that you can quickly digest what we have discussed. So I'll also summarize that quickly for you. So we have done the basic navigation, sign into the application. So it is an URL followed by the user ID and password. And then we have done the basic navigations so that we can understand how the application looks like, the initial look of the application. And then a step further, I have navigated to the user account, where I'm adding the new user account as a part from the security console, so that this user account can be used for implementation. So similarly,
Hey, Abhishek.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Hey, one quick question. So do we need, so if we have to configure an SSO user, do we still need to add that user individually, or can we directly pull from SSO?
Okay. Yeah. So we're not reached that concept, but I would like to take it offline only because it's again a big topic here, right? So as of now, what I'm telling how to simply add a user, right? So I'm not talking the implementation user or an employee user because users can be multiple users, different type of
Got
user. Yeah.
so you're going to cover this topic some other time,
Uh,
or
yes, we'll be discussing those topics.
okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. Yeah. And sorry, one other question. So what about the multiple regions?
Okay.
Is How
So
do we?
I'll just stop you. Sorry to cut you out here. Just type your
Yeah.
question in the chat. We can take it at the end of the session. We still have
Okay.
the agenda to be
Sounds good.
covered
Sure.
here. Yeah. All right. All right. Team. So we'll continue with the topic here. So this is how we're going to create an implementation user, and also I'll tell you how to add the roles. So one of the important roles here is so basically, we are looking for the configuration, how to do the configuration. So in order to start the configuration, there is a role that you require to have. I'll type the name here. So name of the role is application implementation consultant, right? So this using this role, I will be able to get the access of the configuration side, right? So this is very important. So anytime when you are creating a new user, make sure you have this role so that you will be able to start the configuration or review the configuration that has been done in the application, right? So sometimes what happens is there are user accounts which are created just for testing the functionalities. So they may not be required this particular, but all the user who are either responsible for updating the configuration, doing the new configuration, or making changes in the existing configuration, right? So all those users will be requiring this role so that they can actually navigate to the configuration page, right? So I'll just add this role as of now. Now this is just for the purpose to access the configuration page, right? Then apart from this, we will be using this page multiple times. Anytime we are going to configure a new word module, we'll be using this page. Anytime we are going to test a new word, we'll be going to use this page, right? So with time, you'll be familiar with this process where you can come to this particular page, navigate to this particular page, search your user account, add the respective role so that you can do the configuration and you can test the functionalities. Okay. So this is how the user account edition will be happening. So this is the basic thing, right? After navigating to the application, this is the first step that you're going to do, which is setting up the user account, right? Now, once your user account is set up, okay. So what you need to understand is, let's say my user account is set up. Now, what is the other thing that I need to do, right? So which is the part of the initial thing only, right? So let me also try to access the application using the new account that I've created. So I'll just navigate to this page, enter the credential. Now I'm able to access with the new user, which is Abhishek Kumar. And then, yes, as I have given the role, now I'm able to see this icon, which is called setup and maintenance. So this is basically from where you'll be able to do the configuration. Okay. Now the foremost thing that I was telling you that which has to be done once you have the access of the user is here, which is set preferences. So this is the first thing that you will be doing anytime you have the user account created for yourself, right? Go to regional, and this is where you'll be fixing these options, right? So these are the default options, right? In terms of territory, like let's say you're operating in US, then you can choose US here. If you're operating in any other country like India or any other region you're operating, right? So there might be possibility where you're implementing product for the any customer which is sitting in any region, like can be Middle East, UK, US, or any other region. So like that, you can fix these options so that any information which is populated for your user account will be based on this information which is entered here, right? So territory by default is US. I can keep it as it is. Now, how do you want the date format to be populated, right? Because in the system, when you'll be working on different functionalities, so date is something which will be used as a parameter. So date entry will be done, right? Various reports will be generated. So how the date should format look like? So DDMMYY, DMMYYY, right? So here, along with the format, the sample is also given. So this is how the output will look like, right? So let's say here at 23rd of July 2024, this is how it will be look if I choose this format, right? So is this something which I want to review my data, right? If the answer is yes, I can have this, right? Then time format, how the time format, whether it's a 12-hour format or 24-hour format, how it should be look like, then how the number format should look like, right? So with a comma, with a decimal, right? So those things are something which can be fixed here. And also the default currency. So let's say if the default currency is USD, I can fix it here, right here, USD. And what is the time zone? So here it is Arabic time zone. I can fix it to any other time zone if I'm working in a different time zone, right? So whatever options I select here will be applicable to my user account, right? So don't feel like, if I make changes here, this is something which will be applicable everywhere. No, this is something user specific, and this is something I should be doing on the very first day when I'm getting the user, right? Now the question that arises here sometimes is like how I can decide like which of these formats are applicable. So normally it is something which can be ascertained with discussion with the business, like where the business operates, what is the date format they follow, what is the time format they follow, what is the number format they follow, which currency they follow, and what is the time zone that follow. So keeping that in mind, we can align this information for the respective user account, right? So let's say these are the details which I want, so that later on also all my transaction every time is in sync with this information, right? And this is the password option where I can change my password and all, right? So one of the important thing is regional preference. So that is something which I'll be doing as a part of my user creation process. And then the next part is I can move further in order to initiate the configuration process, right? So this is about the basic navigation, how the navigation looks like, how the security feature works. So here I have mentioned who, what, which data. Then also I mentioned the role-based security model. So that's where I have explained that unless and until you have the role, then you'll not be able to see any options. And once you have assigned with the roles, then you will be able to see the respective icons where you can perform various functionalities or configuration depending upon the role that has been assigned. Okay. This is just one example here, which I have used before also. So let's say I'm doing the implementation. So Abhishek, let's say Abhishek is the employee of the organization and is a general accountant. So you should be able to see only GL related activity. GL means general ledger module, right? So in that case, Abhishek should be assigned with the respective roles, right? And same way applicable to the other users also. So first, we need to identify which user is going to have the access of which functionality, and accordingly, based on that, the roles should be assigned to the respective users, right? So hope this is okay. So here we are given some of the seeded roles. Seeded means the roles which are predefined in the app, uh, in the application. So application implementation consultant, just now we have seen, we have assigned to our new user application implementation consultant role, so that the user can have access to the setup and maintenance, which is basically responsible for the configuration, right? Same way, respective modules that we are going to cover as a part of the training. So some of these roles are mentioned which are predefined in the system, right? So general ledger related roles like general ledger accountant, general accounting manager, then accounts payable related roles, account payable invoice supervisor, payment supervisor, manager. Now, each of these roles is responsible for performing certain set of activities, right? So that is something we will be able to understand when we start testing those, functionalities. So at that point of time, we'll be requiring these roles so that we can do the testing. Now, as of now, the only thing we require is application implementation consultant, because the first thing that we need to do is the configuration. We have to start the configuration, right? So similarly, for other modules also, we have the seeded roles available. And also, Now, seeded rules means, so this is the naming convention that I'll be using multiple times during this training program. So anytime when I say seeded means predefined in the system, something which comes predefined. So that is something called seeded, and something which we do as a consultant apart from the seeded, that is called custom, right? So we'll be using this word multiple times. So just like seeded roles, where once you have the seeded roles, there are pre-defined set of activities that you can perform, right? So let's say, for example, so just rough example so that you have an understanding. Because as of now, you're not aware of the functionality side, so I'll just give you details here. So let's say GL role, GL, you can say GL manager, right, can perform functionality function one, two, three, four, five, like that. Okay, let's say for example. So if I assign this role, the particular consultant will be able to perform this 10 functions. Okay. Now what happens is, what if I want that my user should be able to perform only these three or four or five functions, right? Right. So is there is any way? Yes, the answer is yes. What we can do here, we can also create custom rules, right? Where we can restrict a particular user with various limited functionality. So what Oracle has done as a part of the best practice, they have created the seeded roles with the predefined set of activities that a particular roles will offer. But sometimes what happens, business do have those kind of requirements where they want to restrict some users only with limited functionalities. So in that case, the option still is available where we can create the custom roles and assign it to the users so that they can be restricted to only the required functionalities. Right. So this is something doable, and this is will be something we'll be seeing in the upcoming sessions. Right. Now, financial application data access component, I'll not touch base here because too early for that. This is something we'll understand when we actually testing the functionality, because there is one thing which I mentioned here in the above slide. So I'm saying that who means the user, what means general ledger, which data. So when I say which data, which means HDFC data, Reliance data, or which data. So that is where these concepts come into picture, which is application data access components. So various module works on various data access components, and in order to understand these components, we should be understanding these nomenclatures, and this is something which we will be able to understand once we start the configuration. So as and when these topics are covered, at the very moment, we'll be covering these individual component as a part of data access component, right? But the idea is, using this, we will be restricting the user of accessing data of different companies, right? If someone is an employee for HDFC, he or she should be able to access only HDFC. Someone from Reliance should be able to access only Reliance. But whereas it works on different components. So module-wise different components will be there, and that is something we'll be covering. Uh, Enterprise structure is something we will be covering from tomorrow, because this is something from where we will be starting the configuration, right? So here, let me take a pause so that you sink in all the topics that we have discussed here. And also, I'll take the questions which are there on the chat. Right. Meanwhile, just quick information. So this is the second session of the free demo, and this is the last. And from tomorrow, we will be continuing with the regular classes. So we will be sharing a different link of the regular classes. So please get enrolled. Please touch base with our admin team for getting the enrollments done, so that we can give you the access of the recorded classes, which is the portal that we have. Also, we will be able to share the link for the regular classes meeting, right? So if you have not done it yet, please go ahead and read that. And also, just got an update from the admin team that some of the students who are not able to join yesterday, who are joined today only. So just for them, or for all those students, what we have done, we have updated the dates of the early bird offer, which is the discounted rate offer. So it will be available till before tomorrow class, regular classes. So anytime, if you have enrolled, you can enroll before tomorrow class, and you can avail that offer of early bird discount, right? So that is also something which is we have extended for now, right? Okay. We'll start with the questions here in chat. And before that, there was one question which was raised by one of the consultant yesterday, stating that the consultant was already working as a testing consultant and working on multiple modules. Uh, and is aware of the functional aspect, how to test the functionalities, but not aware of the configuration. So the question was, are we also going to cover the configuration in this training program? So the answer is yes, both the aspects, which is configuration as well as the functional aspect, will be covered as a part of this training program. So you can very well join this training program so that both the aspects can be covered here. Why HCM is not a part of the ERP? HCM is human capital management. The training program that we are conducting here is hardcore financial modules, and HCM is altogether a different track, human capital management, which takes care of the overall employee management, your compensation management. So those are two different tracks, right? So as a part of the ERP, this is only financial training. So we have multiple tracks here: human capital management, then we have supply chain management, then we have financials, right? So that this training program is designed for covering financial modules. Okay, and then there's a link of the Google form which is shared by our admin team, so you can directly access the link from here in the chat, and then you can enroll for this training program. Will there be a separate session for administration? Yes, for the administration part, yes, apart from the modules, we will be having some sessions where we'll be covering all the admin related activities in terms of application. So this is something which is common for different tracks because it's just done at the application level. So yes, we'll be having those sessions, right?
Abhishek, can you please let us know that list of concepts you're going to cover, the modules which you're trying to cover?
So module, we have already discussed the core modules that we're going to cover. Now within module, the detailed topics that you're looking for, a list of topics.
Yes, absolutely right.
Okay. All right. So that is something can be shared. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay. How can multiple regions access the same application? So it's a cloud-based application, right? So anytime, anywhere access. The thing is like uh, just you need a URL and the internet connectivity along with the machine, so you can access the application, and also you can configure, you know, multiple regional. You can say multiple configurations you can do related to different companies setting in different countries. So that is something that can be done. So application very well supports that part.
So by when we can expect, Abhishek, that list of concepts after the
Uh,
session?
yeah, after the session, so by tomorrow morning, I'll be able to share.
Yeah, yeah. Great. Mm.
Right. So please
And
reach. So I'll be sharing with the admin team. So feel free to reach to the admin team, and they'll be able
yeah,
to share. Yeah. So because this is something which I normally share as a part of the regular classes, but yeah, if you want something in advance, you can reach out to the admin team. I'll be sharing with them.
the one which I received, probably it has other modules are linked up. So when I connected, the people said that those are the modules which you are going to cover in the sessions we need to consider. So that's better to have the clarity on the what
Okay.
topics you are going to cover.
Sure.
That's one.
Sure. I'll be sharing this. Yeah.
And the other is that would like to know that once your session is over, do we providing any the test cases or how this the practice need to be done? I know how many hours need to put efforts to become expertise in this application.
Okay. So how the concept work here is, during the classes, the process that we follow is a new implementation, right? So let's say we are doing a new implementation. So we will be doing the configuration in the live classes. So always I recommend my students that once the class is over, always try to spare some time on practicing the topics that are covered in the class. At least like those topics can be covered. Now, how to cover those topics? Those topics can be covered by doing a parallel implementation, right? So I don't say that, okay, whatever is being configured in the class, that's it. No, you should be doing the hands-on experience from your side, right? Try to replicate whatever setups which are done in the class so that you'll be getting an idea how the setups are done and what are the challenges that you're going to face while doing those setup, right? So any issues that you face, that is something we discuss in the upcoming class. And also at the same time, a WhatsApp group is created where those queries can be posted like as and when you do the practice, so that any other students who are also facing these kind of queries can be addressed in the group, as well as if there is something which needs to be addressed during the next class, in the next class. So that is something how we do it, right? Now, the thing is like how many hours of practice, so that is a very subjective question, I'll say, because some of these students, if they very well understand the concept in the class, then in minimum time they able to cover that. But if of the students, they try to do different scenarios, so that's where you need more time in the area. Yeah. But yeah, this is not something that because many of these students, they are also in jobs and all, right? So considering that part, they need to spare some time uh, to do the practice. But yeah, my recommendation is if more regular practice will help you to understand the concept more clearly, because every other week we will be switching from one concept to another. And also in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, so we will be switching from one module to another, so that less backlogs will help you to understand the concept and effectively take advantage of the training. That's what I can say.
So you'll be placing this previous videos, or you'll be going to place in the drive in the current videos?
So all the videos, including the demo videos, will be there in the portal, the training portal.
Okay, so we can access the previous more, no, or we
Yeah,
need
yeah.
to wait for the.
Previous video means whatever class, once the class is done, so on the same day the videos will be posted in the portal.
Mhm, mhm. Okay, and do you have any crash, like, instead of waiting for 2 months, 3 months, like, we do have any continuous 10 hours programs, like a week program?
As of now, this is a regular batch, so it has been designed considering the mixed match of population, including the ones who are in regular jobs. So 1 hour on a daily basis is something we have planned. But sometimes also, I'll be requesting you to be available on weekends. So if this is something which suits the whole batch, then we can also connect for some extended classes during the weekends. Otherwise, it will be 1 hour on a daily basis. So 1 hour plus minus 20, 25 minutes, like that.
Okay, so during this portal, what you're saying, we can download these videos, or only we need to access them?
That I think admin team can answer this question.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah.
So we cannot access the previous class videos. Only thing we can access only the current videos which you once you've done, and you'll be uploading that.
No, no, you can access the previous class, right? So the whole classes, like including the very first day class, including the demo videos, right? You can access anytime, right? So all the lectures will be very well available in the portal, right? So it will
Uh,
not go anywhere, right? So like on a daily basis, whenever we'll be having classes, right, I'll be recording those videos and the admin team will be uploading those videos, right? So no, it is not restricted by any sense. You can anytime you can access those videos.
no, my question is that you might be conducted a previous sessions. So those videos you'll be uploading, or we can access only the current videos which are taking session.
Previous sessions, you mean to say previous batches?
Correct, correct. Right,
No,
you're
no,
right.
no, no, no. I think that it is not required because whatever I have covered in the previous batches, I'll be very well covering it here also. So yeah, not required.
Okay, so you'll be uploading any other material apart from videos?
Apart from videos, yes, we what we were going to do instead of for theoretical documents and all, so we will be accessing the Oracle repository, so from where you can have all the contents related to the application.
Okay. Apart from videos, I guess probably we can download those videos, the PDF and these things.
Yeah, yeah, that will be there.
Okay, thank you. Okay, just share that the list of concepts,
Sure.
because just I'm looking little bit of the e-business tax and everything. So you guys are going to teach in R12 EBS also, only Fusion you're focusing.
Only Fusion.
Okay, fine, fine. So no e-business tax, because the brochure which I received, it has
Mhm.
10 modules. That is one of the reason I'm asking in very
Yeah, so
detail.
this particular training program, so the scope that we have discussed yesterday, which is like 4 modules from the financial side, so all those modules we are going to cover.
That's why I got doubt actually, because the
Yeah,
comparing that two different
yeah.
earlier. That's when I'm asking. Okay,
Okay,
in the meanwhile, can you share that detailed concept so that if anything questions are there, we can post our.
okay,
Yeah,
sure.
thank you. Thanks for it.
Thank you.
So Abhishek, I have another question. It's like, do you have, TrioTech follows public holidays as well, or like it is scheduled for Monday to Friday, right? If any public holiday comes,
Okay,
you will.
so yeah, as of, like we don't have any thumb rule that we will be having classes or will not be having classes during the public holidays. So normally it depends. Like mutually, I ask the batch, the whole batches, all the students, like regarding their availability. If they're available, they're comfortable, we'll go with that. But let's say if consultants are not available, they have planned holidays, and so yeah, then in that case, we'll continue with Monday to Friday only, right? Uh, but why extended classes is something which I always recommend, because that is where the extended classes we are able to cover in one single classes the complex topics or the topics which require multiple sessions, right? So effectively those can be covered, right? So that is the only reason. Otherwise, the session timings will be 8 to 9 during the normal working days, right? But extended session during the weekend is something which I'll be asking to you, all you guys, and once you're okay with, then only we'll have that.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
So approximately we can expect by September it will be done.
So it can have like 2.5 months from now,
September. Okay,
plus minus
probably.
one week. Yeah. All right, team. Then do we have any other questions here? Not on the chat, but yeah, if you would like to raise any query here, please feel free. Or also you can post the query to our admin team so they can answer it offline.